Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for your support in the previous video. In this video we're going to show you how to backlit LED strip these two tombstones. Let's get to it. Here we're just cutting the LED strips to size. We're going to stretch the strip across the letterings, make sure we have enough to cover the full length of the lettering, making sure to not cut in between those two copper pads, as if you cut in those copper pads, or before I should say those copper pads, that whole section will not light up. Here we're cutting those wires to size. If you cut them too long, they're gonna bunch up underneath, and you don't want that. You want them small enough to where you can tuck them underneath and them not be seen. We're in 3 LED strips already, and the easiest way I found to connect the wire to the copper pads is you want to pre-fill in some of that material. You want a clean tip. After every connection, you want to clean your tip on a little sponge, and you're going to want to put some more material. This is, I believe, flux core solder already, and it's super thin, so it makes it a little bit easier to work with. Just take your time, do one pad at a time, and it should be fairly easy. I think I struggled a little bit when I first began doing the first ones, but over time I got it. Now that we have all these connections made, all our strips ready to go, you're going to want to test them. The last thing you want to do is lay down some epoxy on top of this and for everything to fail. It wouldn't be good, and the mess would be astronomical, and I think at that point a lot of us would probably scrap the whole project. But yeah, it wouldn't be good. You just want to make sure that your efforts have paid off. And for me, in this portion, testing out proved to be a good thing, as one of the strips, the negative and the positive, was backwards, and had to cut it out and redo that one strip. I believe it was the top strip. But there I grabbed the power supply, and I'm trying to figure out the connections. By the way, this is a hardwired backlit LED strip. It's gonna go into my little power outlet box outdoors, and both of these foam tombstones are gonna be connected to that one power supply. So then after that, we're going to hot glue these strips onto the back of these 1/4-inch boards with the lettering, and I'll show you that here. So in between some of these letterings, you're going to find little spots where you can deposit a little bit of hot glue. You're going to want to put a dab in between those letterings and work your way across the LED strip and place them down until the hot glue cures a little bit and is not moving around. Take your time, no need to rush. If you do mess up, those little dabs that you put onto that LED strip, they come off fairly decent, and you won't have issues taking those off the strips as well and re-gluing that one spot. Now that we have those strips in place, we're going to put this wire through the back, and we have a drill bit that we're going to use. And since it's foam, we don't even need a power tool. We can just use a rotation movement and the pressure from our hands to do this. Now that we did the front, I want to go through the back and make sure everything's clear so that the power line can get through there. But here I went a little bit too far to the left, and I made a hole where I didn't want to, which we can cover up with silicone or some other type of caulk that you have laying around. Anything that's waterproof will work. We're stripping these cables right here. I believe these are 6 to 7 feet. That way we can spread out both tombstones from one another. And now that those are stripped, we're gonna make sure they go through the back, and we're gonna attach those with some solder to the power, to the LED strip that's on the wood paneling. Finally soldering the last strip that we have on this panel, and then it'll be ready to be tested one more time before we go to the final step. Here you see on the top left, one of the LED sections is out, and I'm going to have to replace it. This is why you don't want to cut before the copper strip. With the issue of the other tombstones LED strips out of the way, we're going to get the epoxy ready to mix. We have this silicone cup right here. I like using these silicone cups because they're reusable and you're not spending a lot of money on throwaway stuff that you're not going to be able to reuse. Here I have some mica powder and gold. Initially I thought I was going to go with gold, but later on I decided to change my mind and go with the crimson color for the letterings on this one, and a pearl white for the other tombstone. Mix just enough powder where it's going to be translucent still. Now we're ready to pour. Make sure you follow your instructions on your epoxy that you're mixing, and you get a proper mix so that it doesn't it does cure properly, I should say. And here's where I didn't need to do the varathane mix, as here the whole epoxy, I'm gonna have a layer on top of this panel, so I didn't need to do that polyurethane coat. One of the final steps to be completed here is connecting both of the tombstones together so that they could be supplied power through one single source. One of the last things I'm doing here is soldering the last connection and giving it a marine grade heat shrink so that no water can get in there. What that marine grade has is it has a little substance inside. When heated, it melts and then it creates a coat on the inside. So this tombstone has a different battery box for the lights that power the candles, and I can't connect them to the power source of the Backlit LED strips because they're a different voltage. This little box is a little bit small, so I found this online, which has two AA batteries. I'm going to test them out right here, make sure they work, since I found the positive and negative, and there it is, it's working. With the little control chip, it'll have this flickering effect on there, which I thought it was kind of neat to save. Also, this little box has a little timer in it built in. You hit that timer button and it'll stay lit for 8 hours, or you can have it constantly on. I like the 8-hour feature because you can hit it, forget it, and then not have to go outside to turn off at least the candle portion of it. Here in the final portion of the assembly, I'm going to glue down the chip. I'm going to add structural rigidity to the posts that get staked down. They're too shallow, not enough hot glue to retain these. A lot of the times they'll snap off with a strong wind, and I've found that adding super glue here gives them a lot of strength. Here's that super glue cured, and now these are ready to be put outside and won't have an issue with stronger winds now. The battery box is being super glued in place as well, and so is that chip. The chip's been kind of sunken into some of that hot glue so that it won't go anywhere. Well, there you have it. 2 complete upgraded foam tombstones with new phrasing and backlit LED strips. The one to the right had a bit of extensive work done to it, including new masonry latex paint, including the candles being redone and the insignia on top. The scroll sawing on both of these was quite extensive, and probably will look for a new method to cut down on time. They came out pretty well. Let me know what you think. Thank you for sticking till the end. If you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Until next time.